Hey everyone, just wanted to give you a quick heads up. The second Global Product Owner Summit is coming soon. You can get all the details at bit.ly/Product Owner 2024. That's bit.ly/Product Owner 2024. And it's all lowercase, all one word. Oh, and stick with us until the end of the episode to know the dates and the tracks that we have for you in this year's summit. But for now, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday, the Change Leadership episode, this week with Inga Bergmann. Hey, Inga, welcome back.
Hello, Vasco.
So, Inga, on Wednesdays, we talk about change because, of course, as Scrum Masters, we're involved with change all the time. And we talk about change because we need to learn to live with that change and to lead that change as well. So tell us a story of a change process that you were involved with and walk us through the steps, what happened over time. And as you go through those steps, highlight for us the tools, the tips, the tricks, the techniques you learned back then that you still apply today.
Mm-hmm. So I remember this change that I was accompanying where I had just joined the company and the company was growing not super fast, but they were growing, and it was this sweet spot from being rather few people going into this medium size where a lot of change happens also within the dynamics of a team. They needed a little bit more of guidance because they couldn't work this freely anymore. And also we had some new roles and some new hierarchy levels put into place. So there was a lot of systemic changes happening. And I was working with the product and engineering area, and I was both supporting on a team level as a Scrum Master and Agile coach, but I was also working with the leadership roles to develop the overall organizational structures of product engineering, which included creating that organizational vision we wanted to strive for. What does it mean? So we were really thinking about what are our values, what are our beliefs that we want this area to inhabit. So what is guiding us in our day-to-day actions, how we interact with each other, what kind of desired behaviors are there, what do we not accept as a behavior in our day-to-day actions, really those things. And it was the first thing I learned while we were doing that organizational development was really, it takes so much time to bring such a change into action. Even though, of course, you always know it when you read it and when you think about it, it's always longer than you expect. So plan for double at least. And so what did I do there, for example, with them? So I was having those workshops with leadership where we really started off with sharing our views on this vision, on the beliefs, only in the small group. And already then we realized that it will take so much time because even though we thought we were so aligned already on those topics, there were so many nuances in there where we had to talk about to get at least the common view, not maybe agreeing with everything, but have that common view on things by sharing our minds on stickies. And there were still so many questions to ask. So only aligning on that level already took a lot of time. And then think about bringing this to the people, talking with all the people involved to answering their questions, getting their input into it to develop it further, because we didn't want it to be a top-down thing, but a really co-creational thing to happen. So this was really time-consuming because we still had day-to-day work going on in parallel.
And one of the things that happens when we organize those workshops and kind of raise these views and we start to see that actually it's quite fragmented. It's not like necessarily in one direction. There's a lot of things. There's a need to bring people together, right? Like to create that higher level direction so that the small details don't need to block us, right? Because there's the opposite option, which is to not have a direction, and then we only have details, right? And as I usually say, you can only disagree on details. To agree, you need to have a direction, a vision. So how did you work through the change to kind of bring that cohesiveness of the group, right? Like to build that shared direction.
So one part of it was to, and it was also asked by all the team members rather early that they really wanted to have kind of a product strategy or product vision in place as well. This wasn't so much about how we work together, but it's a big part of how we want to work together because we know what we want to achieve. So this was really crucial as well. And we started off with sharing that product strategy and product vision with the people early on, as early as possible. And we shared it with the people. We gave them time to digest it. And then what we did is we installed a format called open hours, where a lot of like consecutive days, we had 1 hour, an open hour, no agenda, but only leadership being there, answering questions if there were any. So people were coming in, were able to ask the questions. We made sure to document the question and the answers in a Q&A document, so everybody afterwards was able to read it. So we put a lot of effort into making everything transparent and available and accessible for everyone. But it was also not mandatory to come to the open hours, because some people might rather write you a message, or others come to this session and ask and talk. So we wanted to reach everyone. So this was one path of sharing this and helping to digest it.
And what have you learned from that open hour? Like, what kind of comments did you get? What did you see? How people reacted to that? Like, what was the feeling once those open hours were created and people started showing up?
We saw traction in this, so people started asking, and you usually have those pioneers going in and asking right away, but then you also have some people who rather need to see how this works for them, and then they also come and ask. But even while we're doing the open hours, we got the feedback that some people may not be courageous enough to ask in the big group. So what we did is we opened like an inbox up front where they could just bring in the questions, so that we could still talk about those questions during the open hours, but helping them avoid talking in this big audience, because for whatever reason they didn't want to ask in the big audience. So we tried to give a channel to each and everybody.
Yeah, and having that safe space, because sometimes audience creates lack of safety as well, right? Having that safe space also helps people express their concerns in a way that doesn't necessarily require an immediate solution and does not create an antagonic discourse, but rather expresses anxieties or worries and allows the leadership to listen to those, right? Like, that's one of the powers of having those one-on-ones that we very often talk about for us as Scrum Masters being a key tool.
Yeah, exactly. And also what we're doing, I mean, there weren't answers for each and any questions, because also leadership doesn't know at all. So it was really about also talking ambiguity, where people or leadership was saying, we can give you our opinion or our thoughts we have on that, but we don't have the answer, but we can help you to navigate through this tension of you want a question, but we cannot give you an answer, but we can give you ideas. So even this back and forth was already helping people to feel more heard, feeling connected to leadership, feeling connected to the product vision and strategy, because they started this dialogue and started thinking together about those things, creating new dots together.
This reminds me of something that I often talk about, which is that change happens in conversations, right? Like, especially when it comes to the way people work together, how they feel about certain structural changes. That doesn't happen by just writing it down in a plan. It happens by people kind of, interiorizing, understanding, and incorporating these ideas into the way that they act. And I think that one of the cool things about this kind of open hours is that it explicitly fosters the conversation that needs to happen in order for the change to happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing this story.
You're welcome.
Hi there, Agile friends. Thank you for sticking around and listening to the details of the Product Owner Summit, this year's global summit dedicated to a critical Scrum role, the product owner role, of course. We'll have some amazing keynotes and 4 tracks filled with first-hand stories and experiences for product owners to learn more about that critical Scrum role. The summit will take place between April 23rd and 25th, so book your calendars. There will be loads of sessions for you to attend. One of the keynotes will be Dave West, the product owner and CEO at Scrum.org, one of the largest Scrum organizations in the world. If you want to know more, check out the details at bit.ly/product owner 2024. That's all one word, all lowercase, bit.ly/product owner 2024. We will also have 4 tracks. The 4 tracks will cover cross-functional product ownership. That's track 1. As Pixar's Ratatouille said, not every idea can be a great idea, but a great idea can come from anywhere. And this quote emphasizes the importance of a product owner being open to all ideas, regardless of the source, and also challenges us to focus on getting good ideas from everywhere and involving the whole team in the product owner role and responsibilities. The second track is Designing Products for Growth, where we explore how to craft products ready for scalable growth, merging practical strategies with innovation. The idea here is to learn to design products for growth, whether it is sales or customer acquisition. The third track is Know Your Users, user-centric approaches for agile development. In this track, we learn to master user-centric techniques in agile development, to deeply understand customer needs and transform insights into meaningful UX designs that focus on engagement and satisfaction. This is a track ideal for innovation-focused agile teams. And the fourth track, one of the most exciting tracks in my opinion, is product development with AI, ideas for product owners. Not only do we discuss about using AI in the products, but also AI for product owners to learn to make a bigger impact with the help of the AI tools that we already have. The Product Owner Summit will also present to you great opportunities to network with your peers. So get your ticket and join our Slack. You can get the ticket and join the Slack at bit.ly/product owner 2024. As always, we have free tickets and also the paid tickets that help to support this podcast. So check them out at bit.ly/product owner 2024. That's all lowercase, all one word, product owner 2024. I'll see you in the summit floor.